So Sir Alexander requested the old craftsman, that is young Li, to accompany him on a short journey because he wanted to give him a gift in return of the Chinese statue. The craftsman agreed without question, and the three men, who are the three men? Sir Alexander Headcourt, the old craftsman and Mandarin, set out on donkeys towards the north. So they sat on the donkeys and they started their journey and they started moving towards the north direction. They traveled for over 2 hours up a thin winding path. Winding means round and round, like on a hill. So they were climbing a hill, going round and round into the hills behind the craftsman workshop. And where was that hill? Behind the workshop of the craftsman. And when they reached the village of Martian, please mark the name of the village. Okay, so they reached a village called Martian. So they started from Halichuan and went to Martian. They were met by another Mandarin who bowed low to the minister and requested Sir Alexander and the craftsman to continue their journey with him on foot. So now fourth man, that is another Mandarin, joined them. They all got down from their donkeys and they started walking. They walked in silence to the far side of the village and only stopped when they had reached a hollow in the hill, means an empty space. So they kept on walking without speaking and they reached an empty space from which there was a magnificent view of the valley all the way down to Halichuan. And from there they can see the village down. So Halichuan was down and they had climbed up the hill on donkey, going round and round, and they had come to a village called Martian. And from there, when they looked down, they had a good view of Halichuan village. In the hollow stood a newly completed, okay, now mark from here, description of the house. So what is Sir Alexander gifting the old craftsman? A house, because the last wish of the craftsman was to live in the village like his ancestors till he dies. So Sir Alexander is gifting him a house. Imagine buying a land in a foreign country, then making a house on that. And this is why Sir Alexander took 1 year. Okay, so what was there? Please mark that. Small white house of the most perfect proportions. Okay, means the length and breadth of the rooms and the gallery and the veranda, everything was perfect. 2 stone lion dogs, tongues hanging over their lips, guarded the front entrance. And what was in the front of the house? 2 stone lion dogs. So they were the statue of dogs with their tongues out. And they were not ordinary dogs, lion dogs. Okay, ferocious dog statue with their tongues hanging out. So it was a white house and outside there were 2 statues of dogs. Up to here you mark, from small white house to front entrance. This is the description of the house. This is the description of the gift that Sir Alexander gave to the old craftsman. The little old craftsman, who had not spoken since he had left his workshop, remained mystified by the purpose of the journey until the minister turned to him and offered. So the old craftsman, he did not speak a word since he left his workshop and came to Martian and in front of this white house. And he was full of mystery, means he could not understand why have they come there and what is this house, whose house is this. So he could not understand anything. Then Sir Alexander cleared his doubts. What did he say? A small inadequate gift, means not enough. Because you have given me a Chinese statue of the Ming dynasty. So in front of this house is not enough. But actually if we see, that house cost 3 years of Sir Alexander's salary. Still he is saying inadequate gift. And my feeble attempt, my weak attempt to repay you in kind. So this is a return gift for that Chinese statue. The craftsman fell to his knees. Now the craftsman got afraid, such an expensive gift. So he fell down on his knees and begged forgiveness of the Mandarin as he knew. Now another Chinese tradition, please mark it. It was forbidden for an artisan to accept gifts from a foreigner. So this is another Chinese tradition, okay? So one whole question can be framed only on Chinese traditions. Keep marking the Chinese traditions. and you can write it separate also. So what was the Chinese tradition? That an artist cannot accept gift from a foreigner. The Mandarin raised the frightened blue figure from the ground. Blue figure because he was wearing a blue long dress. So the Mandarin raised the old craftsman up, explaining to his countryman that the Empress herself had sanctioned the minister's request. And he explained that the Empress has agreed to it, so there is no problem in accepting the gift. A smile of joy came over the face of the craftsman. Now he was happy that it was his wish to live in the hills, and now he can live so comfortably in the house, and Empress has also granted, so legally also no problem. And he slowly walked up to the doorway of the beautiful little house, unable to resist running his hand over the carved lion dogs. Because now the house belongs to him, so he put his hand on the statue of the dogs and he is looking at the white house and its beauty. The three travelers then spent over an hour admiring the little house before returning in silent mutual happiness back to the workshop in Halichuan. So the three travelers, that is the old craftsman, Sir Alexander Headcoat and the Mandarin, they spent around 1 hour in looking at the beauty of the house. Finally, very silently, they came back to the workshop in Halichuan. The same way, winding path on the donkeys, they came back. And now it says mutual happiness. Means the craftsman is happy that he got a house, and Sir Alexander is also happy that he is not taking anything for free. He has given the value back. The two men thus parted. Who are the two men? Sir Alexander and the old craftsman. Honor satisfied. So his self-respect of Sir Alexander was satisfied. And Sir Alexander wrote to his embassy, that is his office, that night content means satisfied, that his actions had met with the approval of the Mandarin as well as Lady Headcoat. That Mandarin also liked it, the gift he has given, and Sir Alexander's wife, Lady Headcoat, also approved that you have done a good job, you have returned, you have not taken anything for free. The minister completed his tour of duty in Peking. So now 3 years he was appointed there in China. Okay, so 3 years were over, and the Empress awarded him the Silver Star of China. So this was the reward he got. Means he did his work so well that he got the reward Silver Star of China. And a grateful queen added the KCVO. KCVO full form is Knight Commander of Royal Victorian Order. Means he was such a, he did his duty so well that the Empress awarded him with so many rewards. Silver Star of China and KCVO. To his already long list of decorations. So already he had so many awards in his name. 2 more were added by the Empress of China. After a few weeks back at the Foreign Office clearing the China desk, Sir Alexander retired to his native Yorkshire. So where did Sir Alexander actually live? His native place was Yorkshire in England. The only English county whose inhabitants still hope to be born and die in the same place, not unlike the Chinese. So unlike this, Chinese do not prefer to be born and die in the same place. Okay, like the old craftsman wanted to die in the hills where his ancestors have died, but he was not born in the hills. But the people of Yorkshire, okay, they believe that they should be born and they should die at the same place. So he returned back where he was born. So now Sir Alexander Headcoat has retired, okay, and he is passing the days of his old age in Yorkshire where he was born. So this is one of the English traditions. Sir Alexander spent his final years in the home of his late father, means his father was dead, with his wife and the little Ming Emperor, that is Emperor Kang, that is a Chinese statue. The statue occupied the center of the mantelpiece in the drawing room for all to see and admire. And he kept the Chinese statue on the mantelpiece, that is above the fireplace, so that whosoever comes in the drawing room can directly see the statue and admire its beauty. Being an exact man, Sir Alexander wrote a long and detailed will in which he left precise instructions, exact instructions that what should be done with his property and especially with the Chinese statue. for the disposal of the estate, that is his property, what should be done with that after his death, including what was to happen to the little statue after his death. So in that will, he has written everything, that what should happen to the furniture, to the house, even the statue, who will have that statue after his death. Okay, so please mark now. He bequeathed means gave in inheritance. So he bequeathed the emperor come to his first son, requesting that he do the same. So who will be the owner of that little statue? His first son. And it was a request that his first son will pass the statue to his first son. Like that it will go on from generation to generation. In order that the statue might always pass to the first son or a daughter if the direct male line faltered. Faltered means fault. So if there was no male child, then the Chinese statue will go to the first daughter. Otherwise, it will always go to the first male child. Supposing the first child is a daughter, then the second child is a son, so it will go to the son. So the first male child will be the owner of the Chinese statue. And that male child will also pass it to his first male child. And in case there is no male child, then the statue will go to the first daughter. He also made a provision that the statue was never to be disposed of, means it should never be sold or given to anyone unless the family's honor was at stake, until the family's reputation was at risk, means a lot of money was required and the family will get a bad name in the society if that is not fulfilled. Only in that extreme condition can the statue be given or sold. Otherwise, the statue should never be given to anyone or separated from the family. So this was the will that Sir Alexander had written before his death. Please mark that, from he bequeathed to at stake. Sir Alexander Heathcote died at the stroke of midnight, means as soon as it was 12 in midnight, on his 70th year, on his birthday. It was 70th birthday, at exactly at 12 o'clock Sir Alexander died. He was an exact man and he died at exactly 12 o'clock when it was his birthday, 70th. His firstborn. So now we'll see about his son Major James Heathcote. Okay. So his first son, Major James Heathcote, was serving his queen in the Boer War. So he also joined the army, like the father of Sir Alexander. He was a general. Sir Alexander became a British diplomat. Okay, and Sir Alexander's son joined the army. So he was serving his queen in the Boer War. Queen is Queen Victoria. At the time, he came into possession of the Ming Emperor. So when Sir Alexander died, then Major James Heathcote was in a war. When he came to know that his father Sir Alexander is dead, and according to the will, he is the owner of everything, including the Chinese statue. The Major was a fighting man, means he was a brave man, commissioned with the Duke of Wellington's regiment. Okay, so this is the post, you can mark that. So Major James Heathcote, he was the Duke of Wellington's regiment. And although he had little interest in culture, which culture? Ming Dynasty, art and all that, even he could see the family heirloom was no ordinary treasure. But he realized that this is very expensive, this is not an ordinary statue. He did not have much interest in Ming Dynasty or artistic work, but he knew that this is very valuable statue. So he loaned the statue to the regimental mess at Halifax. Please mark that. Where did he keep the little statue, Chinese statue? He kept it at the regimental mess where people come and eat the food. So at Halifax, that's the name of a place, in the mess, in the center he kept that statue so that his other soldiers and other officers of the army can come and see and admire it. In order that the emperor could be displayed in the dining room for his brother officers to appreciate. So other officers can also see it and admire its beauty. So he kept it at the regimental mess at Halifax. So please mark this, regimental mess at Halifax. Where was that kept? Sir Alexander kept it on the mantelpiece. Okay, and in the drawing room. And he has kept it at Halifax in the mess. Headcote became colonel of the Dukes. So he was also promoted. Okay, so he became the colonel now. The emperor stood proudly at the table alongside the trophies won at Waterloo and Sebastopol in the Crimea and Madrid. So this Waterloo, Sebastopol, Crimea, Madrid, these are all the names of places where he had won the war and he was rewarded with many trophies. So he decorated the trophies and the little statue together at a table wherever he was appointed at that time. And there the Ming statue remained until the colonel's retirement to his father's house in Yorkshire. Like the tradition, okay, Major James Headcote also came back to Yorkshire to spend his last days of the old age. Okay, because they prefer to die, to be born and die at the same place. So he also returned to Yorkshire. When the emperor returned once again to the drawing room, mantelpiece. When he returned to his native house, he again kept that Chinese statue on the mantelpiece where Sir Alexander had kept it earlier. The colonel was not a man to disobey his late father, that is dead father, that is Sir Alexander Headcote, even in death, and he left clear instructions that the heirloom must always be passed on to the firstborn of the Headcotes unless the family honor was in jeopardy. Jeopardy means in a dangerous position. So he also made a will that after his death, that statue will go to the first son, and if there is no son, then it will go to the first daughter. First condition. Secondly, that statue should never be disposed, given or sold unless the family's honor is at risk. Colonel James Headcote, MC means Major Colonel, so he became a major, did not die a soldier's death. He did not die fighting in the war. He simply fell asleep one night by the fire, the Yorkshire Post on his lap. So he also died in his drawing room, sitting near the fireplace and reading the newspaper named Yorkshire Post. That is the name of a newspaper. So he was reading the newspaper was in his lap, and sitting beside the fire, he died a natural death.